Okay, so what we're going to do is interpret quadratic models, but we're going to do that using the quadratic formula. So Alyssa, you'll be in good shape with that, hopefully. And then this is the same stuff. And Emma said she used Stephen last week for tutoring, and he was really good, and he's so excited to do it, and he loves doing it. So you guys definitely take advantage of him if there's anything that you don't understand, because on Tuesday or Friday, there's no math teacher in any of the labs, so he's being very helpful. Okay, let's get started then. So I just have one problem for us to kind of look at, and it's this one, and it relates to this week. It's using the quadratic formula. So here's a scenario that you might have. You are selling pet washing services, so you're going to wash people's pets to try to pay for college, because college is really expensive and no one can afford to go just take out big loans. So we've got an equation that models the profit. And the profit is P, and that depends on the amount, X, that you charge for each pet washing. So X is how much you charge. So these equations come about from a net income standpoint. You know, you have money that comes in, but then it costs you money for supplies like shampoo and conditioner and, you know, detangler, whatever pets use, combs, brushes, clippers, I don't know, things like that. So that's normally how these equations come about. Somebody creates these that model a situation. So here's our equation, and you can tell it's a quadratic because of the squared. Remember, all quadratics have a squared. So this models our fundraiser, and the question is, or what we need to do is use the quadratic formula to determine the smallest amount in dollars that you can charge to make a profit of at least $200. So you want to make a profit of $200. And so let me ask you guys this. Does anyone know what we would do with that 200 related to that equation? Where would we put it? You guys are really silent. Silence. Okay, so this represents profit, P, right? So where in our equation do we have P for profit? Oh, unique, very good, where the P is. Yes, yes, very logical. So if we take our equation and we put the 200 in here, because remember that P represents profit, right up here, we said P is profit. And then we plug it in. So we're not using the quadratic formula yet, but we're about to. We get this. Okay, so in this situation, we are trying to find an exact profit. So if I put it in here and I solve for X, then I'm going to know the smallest amount in dollars that I can charge and make a profit. But let me ask you guys this quick question. How many answers am I going to get? Does anyone know if I solve for X? Unique, you're on this today. You are fast. So Unique is saying 2. Very good. Exactly. We're going to get 2. And so hence this part of the equation, what is the smallest amount in dollars that I can charge? So remember, X is the amount that I charge. So I'm going to get 2 answers, and I'm going to obviously choose the smallest one. Well, in order to use the quadratic formula, what does this equation need to be equal to? This is your last question. Ah, very good, Alyssa. You were fast on that one. 0. Oh, very nice, Emma. Okay, good job. You guys, 0. So we have to put the 200 over with the other side. So we have to subtract 200 to the other side. So that gives us our quadratic equation, which we can now use in the quadratic formula. So I'm just giving you a situation that's contextual just to kind of help you guys. What is this, negative 10? When you get to this. So equal to 0. Okay, so here's how to use the quadratic formula. And some of you guys already know. Some of you guys struggle a little bit with the plus and minus. So hopefully this all makes sense. So our quadratic formula is negative b, there's a song about it, you know, plus or minus, I think it goes to Pop Goes the Weasel or something, the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And I can't really sing it for you guys, I'm not a singer. But anyway, if we identify the a, b's, and c's in here, we know that the negative 0.2, that's going to be our a. The 16 is going to be our B, and the negative 10 is going to be our C. So really, this is the easiest way to, this is the easiest way to solve a quadratic is using the quadratic formula. You guys have some other methods that you already have been doing, like factoring, and you can solve pretty easily once you factor. You did completing the square, but those things can be a little bit more difficult. This just gets you straight to the solution. So let's actually plug this in real quick. And so we have negative b, so you do negative, and then whatever b is. So if b was negative, you'd have a negative, negative, but it's positive. So we have negative b plus or minus, oh, hang on, Saxon is trying to come in. So you have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 16 squared, minus 4 times a, which is negative 0.2, times c, which we said was negative 10. And that's all divided by 2 times a. Hey, is this Saxon? Oh my goodness. And now you guys are talking. Wow. But now you guys can talk. Are you guys sharing? Oh, it's like harmony over there. You guys, it's amazing. Harmony, you guys are in harmony because you both said yeah, and it was very harmonious. We were all very excited. So you guys kind of missed a little bit, but we're just doing this one problem. So you'll catch back up. You'll catch back up because we're about to get to the main point. All right. So you guys, here's where people get confused with this equation is, order of operations. One thing you should know is that this denominator, you do that as the very last step after your numerator is just one number. So totally solve your numerator first, then you would divide. So I have this worked out on a piece of paper so you guys don't have to worry. But anyway, so what I do is I just kind of keep writing it over and over again. I do 16 squared first, and I get 256. And then the thing that I do second is I always put this minus here, and then I multiply 4 times the negative 0.2 times the negative 10. Well, a 4 times a negative and a negative gets me a positive, and it gets me a positive 8 if I multiplied all that out. So I do that, and then I multiply the bottom together, and I get negative 0.4. That way I don't make any mistakes. And then I go ahead and do the square root. So remember, you got this plus or minus, so you actually have two equations. So 256 minus 8 is 248. And if you take the square root of that, you get 15.75. So, Samantha is coming in. Okay, and then if you divide, you get negative 0.4 down here. So one more step, and then we can break it into two equations. So if you take negative 16 plus, actually let's break it into two equations so you don't get confused since Alicia was curious about this. Okay, so really right now we have two equations. So the top equation is negative 16 plus 15.75 over negative 0.4. And the bottom equation is negative 16 minus 15.75 over negative 4. So that's where you guys want to break it out into two equations so you can get your two answers. So this top one, remember, do the numerator first. So you have negative 16 plus 15.75, which comes to negative 0.25. And if you divide that by negative 0.4, you get this. And I'm rounding 0.63. Remember, we're looking at X, the amount you charge. So 63 cents for the first one. And then if you take negative 16 minus 15.75, you get negative 31.75. Oh, sorry, Unique. The 15.75 was, sorry, I know I'm going kind of fast. But where I got that is I took 256 minus 8, and that gets me the square root of 248 in here. So that was the square root of 248. And when I took the square root, I got 15.75. So I went in my calculator. Where's my calculator? And I did 248, and I took this little square root right here, and I got 15.75. Oh, yeah, and it's okay, Unique, because I was going kind of fast through there. Okay, so on this bottom one, you do the numerator first, and you get negative 31.75, divide by negative 4, and you end up with 79 point, I think it was 38 I got, so I think that's right, 0.38. Okay, so I got two very different answers. All right, you guys, so which answer do I want? What would be the answer to this question? The 63 cents or the $79.38? All right, Brianna, very good. So let me ask you guys this, especially you guys with the microphone. Yes, very good. Um, how can I have such different answers and still only make $200 profit? I have 63 cents I could charge and make $200 profit, or I could charge $79.38 and make the same profit. So does anyone know how that could possibly happen? Brianna, you could turn your microphone on if you want to. There's a constant. And I'm not really sure. Brianna, do you want to explain it? Uh-huh. Sure, Samantha, sure. Brianna, so is your microphone on? Because I can't hear you. Hello, Brianna. Ah, very good. You're using a little economics, supply and demand. Very nice. And Emma, what did you mean about there's a constant? Emma. Hello, Emma. Emma, are you out there? Oh, never mind. Okay. Don't be confused, Emma. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do, you guys. Actually, let's go back so you know where we are. I'm going to show you what this looks like graphically because it's kind of cool. So we took and we wrote this problem, coming back on your screen, in orange, right? So when we subtracted 200, because 200 was our profit that we wanted, and we moved it to the other side, we got a quadratic that had a minus 10 on the end. So what I did is I graphed that, and okay, so this top equation has the minus 10. So here's what it looks like as a graph. It's a quadratic, and it's like Brianna said, so at some point you're making lots of profit, but then at some point you're charging too much. So our x-axis represents how much we're charging, we said, right? And our y-axis is our P, our profit. So you're making a lot of profit, you're doing great, but then at some point you're just charging way too much and not enough people are purchasing it and your profit is starting to go way down. Okay, so because I incorporated that 200 into this, because I set it equal to 200 and solved it, I can find, well, actually, I'll ask you guys, where can I find my solutions on this quadratic, like that 63 cents or whatever it was and the $79? Where would I find that on this quadratic? Oh, oh, good, you guys, good job. On the x-axis, the x-intercepts, exactly. So here's one, and there's that 63 cents. Here's the other one, $79.37. So I can solve this graphically, and you can see it really nicely. All I had to do was incorporate that 200 in. But let's just say that I didn't incorporate the 200 in. Okay, so I'm going to take this equation off. Let's just say I used my original equation, which was this one here with the plus 190 on the end. If I graph that, here's what it looks like. And it goes up pretty high, you know. And I can always zoom out here or zoom in, and I can see the maximum up here somewhere. But here's the thing. The question said, okay, what do I have to charge to make a profit of 200? Well, here's 200. And I could look here and I could try to figure out what these points are here. You know, I can try to put a point there or something and try to put a point there. But here's another way. And actually, oh, Emma, we're almost done too. So if you have like 1 minute left, or that's about all we have left. Oh, and Brianna, you're already writing it. Yes, where y equals 200. So if you make an equation y equals 200 and you graph it, here's what that looks like And I know, like I said, I know, Brianna, I've seen you do it before, but you guys are probably have seen some of it before. But now it's really easy to look at that interception point right here, 0.63 and 200, and $79.37 and 200, and you can find your answers that way too. So that's just a really good way for you guys to check your work, is graphically, doing it graphically. It's very helpful. Okay. Any questions on that, actually? I don't know. You guys are super bright this quarter, I have to tell you. All right. And I think you guys understand about, I just want to finish off here. So here's the one that we don't want that one. Here's our original equation. That's the one we want. And I'm going to zoom out so I can see the top a little bit more. Maybe that's a little too far out. Okay, so here's our equation. And I think you guys can understand that here's the most profit that I would need, that I could make. I could make $510 if I charged $40 per pet washing. That would be my maximum. So, you know, use your graph to help explain, to kind of think about things. It's actually it can be very helpful. All right, you guys. So in order to close, because I know Emma has to go, and I know Sam wanted to say something. So here's your discussion post, and it's not actually in the discussion now. You guys have to watch this video, but you guys are here, so you already watched it. But all you have to do is explain how solving a quadratic can help you actually solve real life problems. You know how we did that with the quadratic formula. And then also describe briefly how you can find those same answers graphically. All you have to do is post that in the discussion, and that's your ticket out, and you guys are good to go. So I want to make sure, and Alyssa, same with you with the quadratic formula. How are you guys? Do you have any questions at all? Anybody need to stay after we could do a personal webinar or anything like that? Okay. All right, let me just do a quick check on everybody because you guys are all saying, oh, actually you guys are all saying no, so you guys are. So Sam had something to say real quick. So Sam, did you want to share something? Hello, Sam. And I don't know if you have a microphone or anything, but you can pull websites up on the screen. I can, yeah. Do you need me to pull up a website? Okay, and I'm going to end the recording while we're going through Sam's, but I just want to say you guys are doing an awesome job. Still doing an awesome job.